Afternoon, guys. Happy New Year to you. Unfortunately, the house has been stricken by COVID and flu and coughs and colds, so haven't done any videos since before Christmas, but I hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year. So as promised, in my previous videos, I said I was going to do some videos about my gear. So I'm going to start from the top with my helmet. And then I'll do the jacket, gloves and my boots in other videos. So to start off with, I've got a Shoei Neotec helmet. It's the helmet that flips, and I bought this about 18 months ago, and I bought it from the Get Gear website. I find them really good, and I'm not promoting them, I just find them really good. And also, seeing that my videos are talking about biking on a budget, they do interest-free credit. So this helmet cost me, I think it was £459 with free delivery. And it came within about 4 days. And when it came, it was in a big box, absolutely huge box, well padded, well taped up, really secure, no damage to it, so I was really pleased with that, and I was also very pleased with how quick it came. Now I bought this with 6 months interest-free credit, so I could spread the cost. It's the first time I've actually spent that amount of money on a helmet. In the past I've bought Alloy helmets, what was the other helmet? I can't remember the other one I had, but we're talking over 15 years ago. And they were probably priced at around £250 then, which is probably an equivalent. But to date, this is the most I've spent. I did actually buy a very cheap £35 helmet, flip-up one, just to try it out, to see what it was like, to see if I would actually use it or not, and I found it really useful. Before COVID days, when you went in a shop, you could lift the lid up, especially at petrol stations, just lift the lid up, pay for your fuel and put it back down again. Saves you all that bother of taking it off, getting comfortable, especially when it's raining. There's nothing more miserable than taking your helmet off. I haven't actually got any hair now because I shaved it off when I was younger, and it decided not to grow back all in the same place. So yeah, when you take your helmet off in the rain, either to go into a shop or for whatever reason, then you have to put a helmet back on a wet head. Not very nice at all. So let's start. So as I said, I bought this from Get Gear. Really pleased with their service. What I'm going to start with is the comfort of this helmet. Now inside, if I flip it, I've took one of the pads out already. So the padding is removable, and here's one that I've taken out. It's removable to wash it, but I have to say, when I've washed pads out of helmets before, they never quite fit the same, so I'm really reluctant to actually wash the inside of the helmet. And before you say, ooh, that's disgusting, what I tend to do, I've got a shaved head, so I wear my bandana, and I wash this bandana every couple of days, especially through the summer, because when you're sweaty and it's hot, the bandana soaks a lot of it up. I get home, I just wash that out quickly by hand and some washing powder, dry it, and it's fine. And I've got a few of them, and I find this stops the inside of the helmet actually getting as wet as it would if I never wore one. Also, it gives me that, because I've got no hair, when I ride, when I shave my head, the helmet actually slides around on my head. So it's good to wear bandanas, give the padding something to grip to. In the winter, it has the effect of that extra little layer to trap air and keep you warm. So comfort-wise, I find the padding on this helmet nice and soft, but I do find it quite firm, and when I move my head around, I find the helmet doesn't twist and turn on my head. And also, it's got the absorbent padding inside, so on impact, this moves rather than your head moving in with the helmet. So it gives you that little bit of play. You may have noticed as well, I've got a little microphone. I haven't actually got the headset to go with the helmet. On relevant websites, the headset is around £250, which for me is way over budget. So a couple of years ago, I think about four years ago, I bought this Freedcom, which is brilliant. It connects helmet to helmet. I've got one on my other helmet that my partner uses, and it also has a range of, I think, 400 meters bike to bike. I've had this, as I said, about 4 years. I find it brilliant. You can listen to music through it on it if you want. I don't tend to. It does connect to your phone, which I find very handy, especially with sat nav as well. And it's very basic. It's just got an on and off button. It's got a volume button, and that's pretty much it. You can connect it. You can connect it up to 3 or 4 different headsets, and it connects to most other Bluetooth things as well. Again, I'm not promoting it. As I say, if I find something's good, I will say it's good. If I find something not too good, I will also say that. I will give an honest review. But this was around £45, and it's been brilliant. The only thing I've had to do is tape up the connectors there. Don't know if you can see that or not, but where I put the helmet down, it tends to squash the cable a bit. So I bought a blue helmet. I've got a blue bike, and I do like this blue colour. The only trouble with this colour is it does tend to mark quite easily. So I do have a helmet bag which I keep it in. Where I work, I put the bag on it and I store the helmet. But it does tend to smudge. Now you'll also notice that I've put some stickers on it, some carbon fibre. And that's not really a fashion statement. Basically, I was carrying the helmet through town, and when I carry my helmet, I never carry it by the straps. I always carry it by the actual chin strap, the chin guard. And I was walking through town, and someone ran past me and knocked the helmet out of my hand. So lesson learned, keep it close to myself. And it managed to scratch a couple of places on the back. So I happen to have this sticky carbon fibre tape, so I just put some where the scratches were, and that's fine, no problem. Wasn't a heavy impact, wasn't a heavy drop, it just scraped the floor, and I managed to grab it again. So that's the reason I've got this covering on. As I said, I love the comfort of it. The next thing I want to talk about is the air vents. You've got an air vent on the top, just here, and that clicks and opens. I don't know if that shows clearly in the video. And you've also got a little air vent here, which snaps open and shut. And I have to be honest, these are the best air vents I've had on the helmet even. They really work. So in the summer, I ride a Varadero, and I've got a big front screen. And I find in the summer, when I use the air vents, I can actually feel the breeze coming in through the top of the helmet. And also when I move out from the visor, from the screen of the bike, I also find this front air vent really good. It does actually guide the air up through the visor itself. And I have to say in the rain that I don't have any problem with this visor steaming up. Now you may have noticed I've got the pin lock. So on the visor here, you can see there's the pin lock system here. And that actually came with the helmet, which was another thing I was impressed with, because I didn't actually, even though I'd done research on the helmet, I didn't actually realise it came with a pin lock. So I was really pleased that it came with the pin lock. Unfortunately, whilst cleaning the visor one day, I used a piece of tissue which was a little bit coarse, and it scratched the inside of the pin lock. But luckily it's just above my eye line, so when I'm riding, when I think about it, I notice it, but 9 times out of 10 I don't. But to replace the pin lock on its own, the fog visor if you like, that's 35 quid. So I will invest in one maybe when it gets a bit more scratched. But it's one thing to be aware of, that if you have a pin lock on the inside of your visor and you go to wipe it, make sure you use either a Microsoft cloth or a Microdot cloth, or one of those cloths you get for cleaning your glasses, because I didn't realise how easy they are to scratch. Also, when you read the maintenance for the helmet, it does tell you to take the pin lock off every couple of months and give it a clean, which is what I do, and that also helps prevent the fogging. I find, a bit like a car windscreen, when the inside of a car windscreen is dirty, it steams up and it takes a long time for the steam to go, so I do keep it clean. So as I said, comfort is good, the air vents are good. When I'm riding in the rain, it doesn't steam up, which is really good. The other thing I also like about this helmet is when you look at the visor close up, so here, if you can see it, I don't think you can actually, but it's got a kind of curved lip on the top of the visor there. It curves over and it fits nicely above the top of the helmet here. So when it rains, the rain doesn't get inside the visor. Obviously if you lift the visor up, then rain does. But also when you look at the rubber here, there's also a lip, and that's what this curve here sits on. And I've had no issues at all when riding, even for a couple of hours in heavy rain, with rain getting on the inside of the visor and starting to mist up, and also obviously drip on you. So really good, quite impressed with that. Also the visor is quite thick, it's quite a chunky visor. Other helmets I've had in the past, the visors have been very flimsy, very thin, but this is quite a nice sturdy visor. My only complaint with this visor is that it's got the kind of quick release pins here, and to release it you have to push it forward and then unclip it. Very easy to get off, but it's really fiddly to get back on. I'm not going to demonstrate that because it is a bit of a pain in the backside. But yeah, you tend to hold the visor and push it forward, and you can just see a little bit of flex there, then it unclips. But to get it back on, I'm only talking about minutes, but it can be a bit of a pain. So just be aware of that. That might be something that bothers you or not, I don't know, and there might be other helmets with better systems to get off. But on the whole, it's not really an issue. I take it off about once every 3 months, give the visor a clean, take the pin lock off, give that a clean, and also they provide you with some silicone, I suppose you call it an oil, silicone oil, which you put around the mechanism inside to keep it nice and smooth. So that's fine. As I say, you got the red button here, you press it down and you click up. The other thing about this visor, it only has a tab on the one side, on the left hand side. Now I know that's your clutch hand, so at the end of the day most of the time you take clutch hand off and lift it up, but I am right and left handed, and sometimes I find myself going to lift the visor this side and I forget there's no tab there, and then I have to go back to that side. Again, it's a very tiny nitpicky niggle, but it might be something that you want to consider. With this helmet as well, discussed about getting the padding out. Now the other thing with this padding is the noise, not reduction, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't remember. Anyway, when you're riding, I have a big fairing on the front of my bike, or a big screen, and with other helmets I've found you get a lot of turbulence behind the screen. With this helmet I find the soundproofing, that's the word I was looking for, the soundproofing is very, very good. I don't get any whistling, I don't get any noises underneath the helmet. Now being the fact that I've got a full beard, they do provide a triangle which goes in here, slots there, and also when you look at the padding, it's got this kind of thing here which sits under, and it kind of creates a seal on both sides. There's one there, look, and it creates a seal under your chin, and then you've got a triangle which goes across here. I've taken it off because it digs into my beard, but even without that I find the noise deadening of this is really, really good. I'm really happy with the way it keeps the noise out. I can honestly say it's one of the only helmets I've had where I don't have to wear earplugs. Sometimes I choose to on long journeys, especially if there's a lot of crosswind, but even then I still don't get a lot of wind noise with this helmet. I find it really, really good. Obviously it's got your EU protection and all the rest of it on it, so very happy with that. The thing I do find with it is obviously I've got a camera mount there, and I use a drift ghost camera, and that's what I'm recording on now. But what I find with this, because the front of the helmet lifts up, you've got limited options on where to put cameras and earpieces. So if you put a camera on the top, you have to get it in a position where you can slide this up without hitting the camera. So realistically the camera would be back here, so it's hard to get a good view on the camera. You can't really put a camera on the chin strap because you need to be able to get close to that button to lift the helmet up. When you put the cameras on the side, they tend to be off slightly, and that's one of the reasons I picked the Ghost camera, is because the actual lens on the Ghost camera turns. So you can angle the camera and you can do a wide scope lens and turn it so that it's the correct way up. I did try a GoPro, but I couldn't find a way of getting a nice straight picture, a nice straight view. So the drift camera was a really good choice for this helmet. I can't think of anything else. This one has got the quick release system, I think that's what you call it, where you just slide it in and clip. I actually like these. I know a lot of people prefer the D clips or the D rings, which is what I had on my old helmet, but I do find those, especially with a beard, I find them really fiddly. And this just clicks in, and to me it feels really secure. There's no way I'm gonna flip that accidentally, and I'm sure if I come off the bike it will hold. Hopefully I'll never find out. It's got good adjustability and it doesn't dig into your throat. So I'm really happy with that system, and that, apart from the flip side of the helmet, that is one of the reasons I bought the helmet, is because of that catch. I really like the system. Again, when your hands are cold, when it's raining, you don't have to fiddle about. You can just slot it in, get home, and release it. I love it. Actually love it. So with this helmet, as I said, my headset is an aftermarket one. Really happy with it, got no problem. But you can buy the Neotec intercom, and that fits in here. There's a little release cable here, a little release button, and you pull that, and this comes out. Quite easy to get out, and that's where a battery pack would go. And then these side bits here, you can see there. I need better lighting, but there it is. Those actually pop out, and that's where the earpieces and the microphone go for the Neotec system. But as I said before, the Neotec system is around 200. In fact, I haven't found one in the stores here. Every one I found on websites is American, and it's around $240 to $290. So I haven't bothered. I just keep using that one. It works perfectly adequately. I can answer phone calls, you know, and it is great for sat nav and things. So all in all, I'm really happy with this helmet. It's comfortable. The noise deadening is very, very good as far as I'm concerned. And also, because I've got no hair, which sounds really odd, but when you've got no hair, helmet size is difficult, because this is a medium, and I didn't know if it would be too small, because sometimes for me a medium is very, very tight, but on the other hand, a large is too big. Now, when I went on the Get Gear website, it had a very good information page where it showed you how to measure your head to make sure the helmet fits. So that's what I did first. It tells you where around your head to measure, and every time I measured it came out as a medium, and that's what I went for, and that's what fits. So really happy. I'm not sure of the weight figures. I did know it, but it slipped my mind. I'll see if I can pop it up on the video later. Weight wise, with the Bluetooth headset and the camera, I don't find the helmet particularly heavy. Maybe I've got used to it, I'm not sure. But even when I had it new, before this helmet I had an old fiberglass helmet, and that felt a lot heavier. I think this one is a composite helmet. It's not carbon fiber, but I think it's fiberglass and something else. I can't remember. Again, I'll see if I can pop it up on screen. But yeah, I don't find the weight of the helmet too bad, and I've ridden for sort of 4 to 6 hours in one day, and I've not had neck ache, I've not had any aches or headaches from the helmet, and I've not had any headaches from noise. So overall, very happy with it. If you've got any comments or you want any questions answered, please leave them in the comments on the video, and I'll try and answer what I can. But for me, as I said, I've had this helmet almost 2 years now, maybe slightly longer, because I think I bought it before the first lockdown in the UK, and it's still good. The padding's still nice and firm. I've got no problem with the padding. It's easy to get in and out. As I say, I'm not one for putting it in the washing machine. I do sponge it now and again just to give it a bit of a clean, but I wouldn't put it through the washing machine, although it says you can. Mainly because when I've done it before on previous helmets, I find they never go back the same and they never feel the same. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If you do enjoy it, please like and subscribe. I'm just starting off in the world of videos, so any help will be appreciated. See you soon, guys. Bye bye. Hi guys. One thing I did forget to mention with this helmet, which is another feature I do like, it has a pilot sunscreen, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what they actually call it, but it has the flip down pilot mode. Now for me, I'm colorblind, and I usually use polarized sunglasses because they help with the bit of color blindness. But also, it's very uncomfortable to wear sunglasses, I find, under a helmet. So for me, this is brilliant. This flicks up and down. It's easy to clean. It's also removable, and I believe, I will check, but I believe you can get different shades, darker or lighter. And it works through this little switch here, not switch, this little, what would you call it, slide lever. And it's very easy to operate with a pair of gloves on. In the summer I do wear slightly thinner gloves, so it's not really an issue anyway. But the thing I also like is, again, on previous helmets, they have a habit of creeping down when you're riding. This one is nice and solid. It's got a good clunk up and down, and I really like that feature. And as I say, it saves me having to carry a pair of sunglasses, saves me trying to get the sunglasses comfortable, and also I find that your glasses can steam up. So yeah, it's another feature that I really like about the helmet. As I say, it may not be important to you. You may need to wear glasses and you have tinted glasses, but for me, it's a really good feature of this helmet, and it's one I really like. So overall, yeah, superb. Really happy with my choice. I would certainly buy another Shoei helmet, and hopefully this will last me a few years yet. Anyway, guys, have a good evening. Bye bye.